As of this recording, there are 27 different Ticket to Ride games, and I'm sure that maybe you played a lot of them if you are really into Ticket to Ride. The only game that I have is the main USA map version of Ticket to Ride, and I've played it so many times that I had to find some different ways that I could play it. With so many options, how can I make this game better than it already is? I'm going to show you some of those ideas, and also one way that I'm so excited about because it involves, oh my god, monsters! Let's just be clear up front that Ticket to Ride, the game, is perfect the way that it is. These ideas that I'm going to throw at you are just different perspectives, different ways that you can play the game. It doesn't necessarily make the game better. It's just a different way to play the game. The first house rule that we're going to talk about today is instituting trading. Now you say, Tip, this isn't Catan. Why would I trade in Tickets to Ride? Again, it's to make something a little bit different. Now, when I like to trade, the way that I like to play is I will have a hand of cards and I will say, does anybody have any yellow? Or does anybody have any blue? And then somebody at the table will raise their hand and they will say, why, I have blue and I will give you these cards for your blue. So it's very similar in trading to the game of Monopoly, to the game of Catan. It adds a little bit of spice, a little bit of adventure to the game of Ticket to Ride, and it might be something that you want to add to your game of Ticket to Ride. House rule number 2 in Ticket to Con. House rule number 2 in Ticket to Ride is separating your destination tickets into long tickets and short tickets. And you will have 2 different piles. Of course, they will be face down. But whenever you're choosing, you know if you're choosing a short pile or if you're choosing a long pile. One of the suckiest things is at the end of the game, when you're not sure if you want to pick a new destination route or not, and you look at it and you're like, oh man, if I get stuck with that 20 route, there's no way that I'm going to be able to finish it by the end of the game. So if you have a short pile and a long pile, then that might make the game just a little more fun and just a little more interesting. House rule number 3, we have 10 points for the longest road, but we have instituted 10 points for the most completed destination tickets. If you are somebody who likes to complete those destination tickets and you have the most at the end of the game, then you gain 10 points at the end of the game, at the end of the match. House rule number 4 with Ticket to Ride is we will always have 2 destination tickets that are face up. Of course, at the beginning of the game, we give out 3 to each player. They're able to use those. Nobody knows what those are, but whenever they're choosing future destination tickets, they can look at the 2 that are face up and choose whether or not they want to take one of those. Or if they want to go to the face down pile and go from there. It's their option. Having these 2 destination tickets face up makes the game a little more fun, a little more interesting, a little more enjoyable. House rule or game option number 5, and that's called the Ghost Train variation. Whenever me and my wife or me or my son are playing, it can be a little bit boring, and so this option really spices it up and makes it a lot more interesting. There's a more complicated version that I will post in the notes below this video, but the basic version that we like to play is you have a third ghost player that will automatically put his first train starting in Omaha. We will go around the clock just like we always do in 3-player fashion. Whenever we come to the ghost train, he draws 1 card, and whatever card he has that he places down, in this case is blue, we will take one of his trains and we will place it directly on the blue route. The next time that it comes around, whenever he draws a card, it's another blue. He will again go on the blue route. If he draws another card, it is the orange card. We will place it on one of the gray routes, and we alternate taking turns who decides where the next train goes if it's a gray route, because the purpose of having the ghost route is to make the game a little more interesting, a little more fun. It's to mess each other up, which is all the fun of Ticket to Ride. And it may be something that you want to add to your next 2-player game of Ticket to Ride. This last way to play Ticket to Ride, the last house rule that we're going to give you, the way that we play, and the way that we only play from here on out, is actually an expansion called Alvin and Dexter. If it's something you want to look up, you can definitely do that. But it's easy enough to play, and that involves monsters. This Ticket to Ride version is called Monster Siege, and the way that it's played is you will get 2 characters, doesn't matter who that it is. We're actually going to use our mighty Thor to be one of our monsters, and the other monster is going to be Mikey from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, dude. Whenever these monsters are played at the very beginning of the game, the last and the next to last player will choose which cities these monsters are going to go in. Let's choose St. Louis for Thor, and we're going to choose Calgary for Mikey. As long as these monsters are laying siege to these cities, no trains can go in or come out of those cities. But Tip, you say there's going to be no way that I'm going to be able to get my destination card if the monster is laying siege to that city. But if you have a wild train card, and if you play that wild train card, then you can move the monster to any city on the map. I'm moving Thor to Salt Lake City. And whenever you move him, that constitutes your turn. So you're not able to draw or pick up any cards or lay down any trains on your turn. But moving the monster can make the game interesting in ways that I never thought possible. This is an amazing way to play Ticket to Ride, and it may be something that you can use in your next game. Ticket to Ride is already an amazing game, so there's really nothing you can do to make it that much better. But if you want to spice it up, try it a little bit different, then some of these ideas may help you to make your next Ticket to Ride game a little more fun. If so, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next video.